In some other videos, I've mentioned that CRA debt, whether it's personal tax, HST, and often source deductions, there are some exceptions for source deductions if it's a sole proprietorship. But long story short, taxes can be included in a restructuring plan. They're treated as debts, and any unsecured debt can be included in a restructuring plan, be it a proposal or a bankruptcy. But a question that often comes up, because, and I get it, because people are admittedly nervous enough with debt, but they're really nervous when they owe the government, is they'll say, well, if I put my tax debt into a proposal or a bankruptcy, are they just going to come after me later on once I'm discharged? Well, the answer is no. Unless they can prove fraud, or it's something like an overpayment with EI, and I'll get into that in a second. No, the debt is discharged. And actually, CRA is one of the better creditors when it comes to trying to get this right, trying to submit a claim for the right number, make sure that you're not pursued later on. They're actually quite diligent with their getting the right numbers. Where CRA does fall down, though, and I think part of the reason why I've been asked this question, other than just the fear, is CRA does have the right to offset based on when you file and how much, and what you're filing for. And what I mean is this. Let's say you file a proposal in May. Okay, whatever year it is, you file in May, and you include not only the previous year's taxes. Maybe you owed tax for 2021. You owed $5,000, and now you just did your 2022 tax. And look at that, I owe another $5,000. Now I owe $10,000. Well, we can put that in the proposal. However, two things are going to happen. And I always warn people. I say, look, the first thing you need to know is, even though CRA will file a claim and they're going to be diligent about trying to get the right number of what's owing and so forth, it's going to take them a while. They're not necessarily in a rush. If you owe CRA $60, $70, $180,000, yeah, they're going to pay attention to you. $10,000, you're kind of a blip on the radar. It could take them months to file a claim. And if CRA doesn't file a claim, as far as CRA is concerned, or really, I guess I should say as far as their computers are concerned, you still owe them. Nothing's happened. So I tell people, look, you're going to continue to get a statement from CRA every now and then. You may even get a call from someone, but I tell them, look, as long as you're being chased by a computer, that's okay. If you're being chased by a human, let me know. These days, the lines seem to be blurred. But I say you can expect that. And because of that, it could be that by the time you do your taxes next year, when you do your tax, let's say you owe again, hopefully not, $2,000. Well, you may actually get a tax bill for $12,000. What you'll do is you'll see the $2,000, and then you'll see the $10,000 from before, and you'll say, what's going on? I thought I included that. You did. They just haven't updated. So I always tell people, there's the phone. We'll let that go. I'll talk while it's going. How important can it be? Hey, there you go. See, someone got it. So with the, where the hell was I? Yeah, in this case, I tell people, don't panic. Just let me know. It's just CRA being slow. They haven't updated. And by updated, I mean they haven't taken your debt and transferred it to what's known as your sub-ledger account. That's not too big a deal. That can be sorted out pretty easily. We arm people with their proof of claim from CRA. They call CRA and they say, hey, I filed a proposal. You need to get rid of this 10 grand. At that point, CRA will do one of two things. They'll either say, oh, sorry about that, and they'll fix it, or they'll say, what proposal? We have no record of a proposal, at which point you whip out the claim and you say, here you go, taken care of. But something else will happen, though, is something called offsetting or set off, depending on who you talk to, which is, let's say this person is entitled to a refund. Okay, let's say they're entitled to a, let's make this easier. Let's say they're entitled to a $3,000 refund. Well, on one hand, if CRA hasn't updated their system properly, the system's going to say, well, this guy owes us 10. He's entitled to 3. We're going to eat that 3. Now he owes us 7. That's wrong. And that can be addressed in the manner that I just mentioned, where we can show CRA, look, this was included in a proposal. But let's say CRA does set everything up properly. They do account for the $10,000. They've transferred it to the subledger account. CRA may still take some money, because what CRA is going to argue is they're going to say, well, look, your proposal wipes out any CRA debt you owed as of the day of filing. though if you're a T4 employee, they'll probably just backtrack to the last December, the end of the year. So they're going to say that, but they'll say any refund that you accrued before filing, we should get a piece of. So they're going to say, well, look, if you got $3,000 in a refund, well, divide that by 12 months, that's about $250 a month. You filed in May, that's $1,250 that we should be able to keep, because technically you're not entitled to that. You filed your proposal afterwards. Now, this is usually the part where people say, that's bullshit! It is what it is. And they have their own way of calculating things. It can be frustrating, but I find the best way to deal with this is just to let people know in advance. Tell them, look, CRA may try to take a portion of your refund. If they take too much, let us know. Often, 9 times out of 10, I can just explain to the client what to do to get on the phone. We do have the odd occasion where things go berserk and just the person at CRA, look, they get a lot of new people, they have a lot of temps, they don't necessarily know what they're talking about, or my client isn't proficient in English, at which point I'll have them assign me as a representative and I'll get on the phone. I try to avoid that because I don't always have time to sit on hold for an hour and 15 minutes. That happened recently. So the points I want to get across here is CRA, it can be included in a proposal or bankruptcy. Those debts are fully dischargeable. They're not coming to get you afterwards unless they can prove fraud or something. I did mention in the beginning, at least I think I did, maybe it was the video I did before that didn't work out. There are certain debts to the government that are considered overpayments. EI, CERB's a big one these days, where in this case, you owe not because you did your taxes, oh, look at that, I owe. You owe because you got more money than the government feels you're entitled to. Now, technically, these payments, if you owe EI, let's say you're on EI and you get a job and you get one more payment and, oh, look at that, I owe them $2,000. They want that money back. This has happened with CERB a lot. Those can be included in a proposal or bankruptcy, and they're discharged. We haven't had any issues, and I've even had some people over the years. I had one guy who owed about $19,000 in EI overpayments. He was out of the country but kept collecting his EI. Now, technically, the government does have the right to say, you know what, that's not a debt, that's fraud. We're not going to have this be part of the proposal. We're going to take you to court and you're going to owe us. In almost 11 years, it's never happened. I know it's going to happen at some point, but it hasn't happened, and I always warn the clients. Something that's happening right now with CERB, which is really annoying, is the government doesn't seem to know what kind of a position they're going to take on CERB. This is as of June 21st, 2023. Now, my understanding is there's about 650,000 Canadians who owe CERB. But because CRA hasn't taken a position, they haven't filed any claims, which means, again, their computers don't realize that the debt's been included in a proposal or bankruptcy. And this is a challenge because when people get refunds, they're getting eaten. Now we're trying to push back and say, look, it's part of a proposal, and they'll say we haven't made a decision. It's like, great, when you make a decision, let us know. But in the meantime, you can't keep taking. It's an ongoing battle, guys. But ordinary tax debt, not an issue. However, CRA does have the right to calculate an offset depending on when you filed your proposal or your bankruptcy. Hope that isn't too confusing. Take care.